Hello, and a very warm welcome to what I would call the first of the pre-season warm-up videos. And I'd like to welcome the one and only David Ware. How are you today?
Hi.
And it's
I'm
raining.
good, thanks.
Great, good to hear. And behind the camera today, we have George, the one and only George from Ski Mania here, our partners on our ski hire and ski lessons, snowboard hire and snowboard lessons, of course. And we're here really inside, partly because it's actually raining in town right now, but to answer one of the most frequently asked questions that I receive, and I'm sure pretty much every ski and snowboard operation receives, is what are the differences between the skis that you have and the snowboards that you have. In particular, you'll see in our booking form, where you can get all this stuff discounted, or in the Bansko app and in book.banskoblog.com, is the fact that you see advanced range and the regular range. Now, first off, you're going to be ordering regular skis and snowboards if it's your first time, if it's your second time or third week, almost definitely, yeah? You do not want to have advanced. They won't help you, they will hinder you. Isn't that correct, George?
Yeah.
Okay, because George has had many people, and I've had many people say to me, there's something wrong with these skis, I'm struggling. And we're saying, that's because unfortunately, your abilities are not there.
They don't match the skis.
They don't match the skis. That said, if you have progressed quite well, and you can typically get down a black run in reasonably good style, then you should be thinking about the advanced range. And now I talk about these personally because I use these different skis as the skis goes on, so when someone asks me a particular question, I can point out what I think the differences are. So if you're in this category of wanting advanced skis, stay tuned. But if you want regular skis, I'm just going to show these first, the source of skis that you'll get. These are accessible for beginners and really up until you're getting to an advanced stage. And only major brands, so Atomic, Nordica, Salomon, Rossignol. You know, those are four big brands who've been around for the last, 50 years or more?
Yeah. Even I'm a snowboarder and I recognise all those brands.
You recognise them, even a snowboarder. We're going to come to snowboards in a minute, David. So these are going to be your sort of regular skis, and they absolutely fantastic. They do the job. They have more flexibility. They're more forgiving. Now then, had it been cold, there'd be snow pouring down now rather than rain, and I would be in the shop selecting my favourite head cores. Now, this is the newer model from this year. So what you're going to be looking at on a advanced all-mountain ski is something that's wide. So this is 99 centimetres. This is in proportionally about the same. Shorter ski, 85 you'll see is the width.
Yeah, quite a big difference.
Now these are absolutely fantastic all mountain skis, which means when you've got a big dump of powder, you're going to really enjoy, instead of sinking more in a narrower ski, you're going to float more on the powder. But also, when it gets a little bit choppy, which it can do when there's just been a fresh dump of snow on piste, then as the word indicates, all mountain.
So these are all mountains.
So you can literally go down the pistes very comfortably, and that's why I love them too. So it's a mix between going through the trees, of which there's some absolutely fantastic routes here in Bansko, and on the pistes. So this,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
This is like quite a bit taller. Is it just for the height of the person, or?
Good question. So typically, all mountain skis, we have them higher.
Right.
So normal
it's
ski,
dramatically different.
we have them up to our chin or mouth area, George, yes?
Yep,
Yes. George is behind the camera because he doesn't like talking to the camera. So he's going to nod and say yes from time to time. And so longer and wider skis help for the snow. So typically, you're right, I'd be more than happy being on actually this height. So
right.
When I was a kid in the early 70s, you put your arm up. Anyone remember that? If you do remember that, let me know in the comments below. And that was your height of the ski. Yeah?
Oh, really?
Back in the day, old school skis and leather boots. That's what I started in. If it's classic on-piste conditions, then we're going to be looking at stiffer skis. So remember, if you're what I would consider an advanced skier, you can get down good pistes, then I will be using I normally use my Rossignols, but this year, George, I'm going to change, and you're going to advise me what I'm going to be using, please, because I've been using the same skis for on piste pretty much for 6 years. But these are the sorts of ski that I will use. So these are a derivative of race skis, so team race skis, but they're not the actual team race skis, because even if you're an advanced skier, you do not want to be in race skis, do you, George? Yeah, you don't.
Why is that? Is it too fast? Or?
It's just, it really is a totally different level.
All right.
You're really pro level.
I see.
You feel as if you're on rails,
Oh.
like railway tracks, and you feel you're going to break your legs. So you really, really need to be an excellent skier to use what I would call proper team race skiers. But these sorts of skis are absolutely fantastic. I love them. They're stiffer, and you can really start developing your carving, advanced carving technique, getting down low, yes. And I would recommend you, if you're really wanting to get good carving, is to hire these and take a private lesson, a one-to-one, or maybe if you've got a friend who's the same level, have a little private group, 1 or 2 or 3 of you, and build up your carving technique. And you can do these on stiffer skis. That's true, isn't it, George?
Yes, it's true.
It's all true. Good stuff. Now, my tip to you, good folks, you dear Bansko people, is to just take hand luggage. Yes, it can be done. Pay for yes, many of the airlines will take a rucksack, and then you have a normal, traditional bag that you can put in the overhead locker. So pay for that. But between a good sized rucksack that fits and a bag, you can have everything for a whole week skiing. Yeah. Including, you can actually, if you're really clever, if you're a skier and you have your own boots, you can even put those in there, and then you put things in the boots, and
Yes.
roll up all your clothes and wear your ski jacket with all your tech gear and all that stuff in the pockets.
You'd be like this.
Yeah, you'd be like this. But there's a big benefit, because many of your flights come in midday. If you get here and you want to go skiing, so you land at 11:30 or 12, you get here at 2:15, you're in the shop at 2:15, you quickly put on your ski gear, you go up the gondola, and you could be up there till 5 o'clock. The lifts stop at 4:15 and the gondola stops at 4:30, is that correct? Yes. And therefore you can ski down if the ski road's open, and really you've had an amazing day.
Well, the great thing about that is that if there is some issues with your gear, you haven't really lost anything, have you?
Yeah.
You can then come down and get it all tweaked.
And that's a good
everything
segue for me to do something that many people ask is, if I want all mountain skis, which we just showed you, but there is no powder, what do I do? All you have to do is ask the team here, I want to change, and you can change every day into whatever skis suit you and the conditions.
Well, the other thing I was going to say, if you don't mind me
Yes,
interrupting,
please.
is that I was very pleased to hear from George that he actually supplies like everything. Like everything you can think of, from gloves to goggles to everything.
Yeah, so that absolutely, and you can book in the form your jacket and trousers. So you can definitely not take any gear and just take a rucksack and be out.
It's an amazing service.
And save money.
And also the other thing about here is that actually, like, you can leave your boots here overnight and go away and then come back. So you don't even, like, you can bring all your gear back to the shop, which is right next to the gondola station. You just dump it all off and then away you go.
We like to make life easy, because I know how difficult it can be. Back in the day, we used to walk for miles in our boots. Imagine being a kid doing
that. I remember that.
Hard work. So now, David, let's just move over here, because I want us to talk about snowboards. We've actually just pulled out one just now. It's called Ultra Fear from Capita.
Yes.
And this is part of the advanced range.
Yep.
Now
this is a freestyle board.
Freestyle board with some very funky graphics. Hey, nice lady there. So,
union bindings as well, which are like top quality bindings.
Now, why should you have union bindings? You go.
They're just great bindings. Like, Union don't make anything like boards or anything. They make bindings. That's all they do. So all their knowledge is all focused on their bindings. Yeah. So that's one thing. And the other thing is they're just really thought about everything. So they don't break really that much at all. And if they do, the parts are really easy to get. So they're just top bindings. So to see that on a higher board is just amazing, to be honest.
Yeah.
You don't see that often at all.
You don't. But it's not actually just out of the goodness of George's heart that he puts them on. He's laughing here. You know what? Because they're so well made, and there's, let's be honest, some people do abuse rental gear. You shouldn't. Yeah. But some people can be a little bit clumsy with it. Let's put it that way. But these hold up very nicely.
And the board as well. I mean,
heavies.
This is like a really great board.
Yes, yes.
You know, I mean, this is a fantastic board, actually. I mean, it's a directional twin. It's a freestyle board. You know, like, that's... Yeah. I mean, if you don't mind, George, I might take it out for a day just to try it out because it looks amazing, you know.
That's if it's not rented out.
If it's not rented out.
After this video, everyone's going to be asking for this specific board, but there's lots of other boards in the advanced range that are going to be right. But again,
there's a whole pile of them at the back, isn't
the advice remains pretty much the same as for skiing. If you're, you know, just starting out in your snowboarding career, do not book an advanced snowboard.
Absolutely, yeah.
These are tell the folks why they shouldn't.
Well,
because when you're learning, you might say, "I want a really sexy board."
It looks great on your feet, but then doesn't look great when you fall over. So like, that's the key to it. And you know, there's a lot of tech that goes into these boards, and most of the time, you know, you could learn on it. It would be great, but you're never going to identify what that technology is because you're just learning, and it would be much easier just to get a nice, standard, you know, simple, soft board which you can just like get to grips with how the board works, how snowboarding works, you know, get your legs used to it. This kind of board is really specific. It's quite, excuse my phone, it's quite specific to freestyle, so tricks and buttering and all those kind of things. So you don't need it when you're learning. You can do that on a basic board. You can do all that stuff, but you just do it better on a very specific board.
So there you go, folks. Have advanced board if you really think you need one, otherwise don't. So you'll know if you really are in that category, I'm sure.
And the same for like the free ride boards, which are more like all mountain, going off piste and all that kind of stuff. Those boards are really stiff and hard, so if you went out as a beginner on that, it would just be a nightmare.
Injury time.
A nightmare.
Okay, just a tip. If you start, we have a lot of beginners, and we really love beginners coming in and learning for the very first time. I'm going to give you a tip that's going to save you money. Don't go wild buying a whole load of fancy gear. A, you're not quite sure whether you're going to love it. I'm sure you will, but you know, you may not. The second reason is that you may just buy the wrong gear for yourself. So you can just buy relatively cheap gear, rent, or borrow. Lots of people have ski gear in their loft that they've never used or hardly ever used. So don't spend a fortune if it's your first time. Also, if you do get hooked, there's many shops selling really nice jackets, trousers, and thermals, and everything you need to have a really great, comfortable ski trip. So don't stress too much about the gear, okay? Save your money. One other thing, do like, share, and subscribe. Some of you are very naughty, and you're watching these videos, and you're not subscribed. Yeah, that's very naughty of you. So the Christmas period is coming. Feel the festive love. Helps the algorithm, of course, if you do subscribe. Actually, another tip I'll give you: actually pay for YouTube Premium and avoid all those ads that come on these days. So that's my tip. It's well worthwhile. David, thank you for your expertise.
You're welcome. Happy to help. Nice. I just picked up my season pass today.
He's happy. He's happy to have spent his 1,500 leather.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's going to pay off big time.
Yes, it will. Yes, it's your ticket to happiness. Let's put it that way. And the other ticket to happiness is buy if you're coming from abroad, your flight tickets. Remember, weekends are busier. You know, maybe think about doing 3 shorter trips. Oh, the final tip is a question I get asked all the time: is when is the best time to come to Bansko? Well, any time's a good time, in particularly the summer, but in the ski season, there are some busier times, and there can be some gondola lift queues. So, in January, just before Christmas is really good, if there's snow, and we'll have to wait for that. New Year is always going to be very busy, but when we get to around about the 10th of January, 11th of January, things quieten down massively, don't they, George? Yeah. Yes, they do. Yes. And so up until then, and the 21st, I think on the 21st this year, we've got the snowboard freestyle competition.
Awesome.
Coming to town. So that weekend's going to be busy. Also, it's the Turkish holidays, I believe, around about the 21st. So that slot between the 10th and the 21st of January is really recommended. February is February, and every day in February is going to be busy. Is that true, George? Yes, it is. And it doesn't matter. There's some Bulgarian holidays. There's holidays around Europe that happen in February. Then we have 3rd of March, guys and girls, which is, George, a very important day in the Bulgarian national calendar.
It's Independence Day.
Independence Day. And you know
That's
what?
always fun.
They really need their independence. The history of Bulgaria from Thracian, Byzantine, Roman, Ottoman,
Yeah.
and then they ended up with the communists in 45, which means everyone gets a holiday. So that weekend before, I think this year is going to be really quite busy, possibly the weekend after, the 3rd as well. So think about that. So the time to come, ladies and gentlemen, is the 14th of March to the end of the season. Yeah, typically it's really good. So think about those 3
March
times.
is always amazing.
Okay, so thank you for staying to the end. If you have stayed to the end, congratulations. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know what you want to hear during the season. I'm going to try and change things, mix it up a bit more, maybe do some more food reviews and that sort of thing. So I'll talk about what's opening up, what's closing down in the next video. But you tell me what you want. And in any event, you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now, and bye from David, and bye from George.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.